Hello everyone, I'm Alicia. Welcome to my Beautiful Nights channel. For this tutorial, I want to show you guys how to make 3 designs using materials from the Czech Beads exclusive monthly subscription box. In case you didn't get this box, I will link it down below. It is still available at the time I am filming this. This box is July's box, and the theme is called On Vacation. If you are watching this tutorial at a later time and you can no longer get the July 2023 subscription box, what I'm going to do is I'm going to list the links to the individual materials I use to make these projects. So down there below in the description bar you will see necklace 1, necklace 2, and 3, bracelet 3. I will have individual links, get what I'm saying? So you can go and buy these materials individually to make these projects. You'll see the links down there below in the description bar. When I received this box, all of the colors were so beautiful. It's a different color combination than I usually do, and the shapes, there's a bunch of different shapes, different styles, kinds of beads. It really inspired me to create, and I wanted to make 2 necklaces. And so I did, and then I had beads left over still, and I thought I should try to make an asymmetric bracelet because I feel that because of kind of an OCD person and everything I make has to be perfect. Like, I never just put something out there and it's okay to me. Never. Every time I show you guys something, I always have to make it perfectly because I feel that I have some kind of OCD, and I want to present it to you guys. So I thought, you know, I should really try to do asymmetry more often, and so I created this bracelet right here, and I think it's good. I like it. I tried moving the beads around all different ways, and this here was my most favorite. I think it's really cute. So I'm going to show you guys how to complete this one, how to do the crimping. I've already crimped these other 2, and I thought it would be stupid if I showed you guys how to crimp both necklaces and the bracelet, so I'm just going to show you how to do it one time. And plus, the way that I finished this one off, there's more to it. I'm using crimps, a wire protector, and I'm also going to be using a crimp cover, so I'm going to go into more detail. So I thought this would be the best piece to show you how to do that on, in case you've never done it before. So anyways, when I started working on the necklaces, you know, this is called On Vacation, and all the beads in this box, they had a very tropical feel to me, so they did a really good job putting all of this together. I had an idea in mind, and I wanted to make 2 necklaces that looked good together, where I could wear them together. And so this was the first one. I think I started doing this one first, and it was looking really good, and I realized that I could try to use some of the other beads to finish the back, but I think it would be best for me to do chain. I don't know why I just kept thinking chain. I gotta do chain in the back of this one. And so I did chain on the back, and I did all this beading here in the front, and I love this style of necklace. If you've never made a necklace like this, where just the beadings in the front and you can see the chain, some in the, from the front when you're looking at the front in the mirror, you can see the chain just a little bit on the front. This style of necklace is so awesome. It's very delicate, it's gorgeous, you're not using a lot of materials, and it's so simple, but it can be so pretty. I've made several necklaces like this in the past, and I'm going to put some pictures up now to get you guys inspired to create a design like this, because it really is one of my favorite simple necklaces to make. So after I made this one, I was working on this one, and this necklace here gave me the most trouble. My original thought was to have two necklaces that didn't have the same beads, but had like a similarness to them where they looked awesome together. And I tried using all different kinds of beads because the box was loaded, and I just wasn't getting it. And I thought, you know what, I should make it a double row right here, but not do up high, up like halfway. Actually, it's like a third of the way. I'll usually have like another row come down like this. I love doing designs like that too. So I was gonna have it a second strand come from this bead and go like this. And so I did that, and I took a picture of it. I'll put it up now so you have an idea of what I'm talking about. And that necklace was too short, so I would have to put like, you know, some more beads in it. I think I also had to do like those and maybe another pack of beads, but I didn't like it. It was too many beads. And right now I have a lot of beads in it, but they all look so good together. And so I decided to just do one strand, and it took me back to my original idea, and it worked out perfectly. And when I put both of these necklaces on, they are made for each other. So my original idea did end up working out, but I don't know why. It just took me a few nights. I worked on this for a few nights. I haven't really been able to bead in the daytime. So I worked on it, and it took some time, but I managed to get it to work out. I had to go through a whole bunch of different looks, and you know, I never settle on a design. I usually don't make a design in one sitting. I like to play around, see what I come up with. I have to take a break from it, and then I'll come back to it the next day, and something will spark, and it'll be just right. And it turned out perfectly. And you know what I really like about it? This here is 20 inches, and I think I have like a 2-inch extender, so when I put this on, because I have the chain on here and where the chain's at, when I put this one on, it sits so good with it. And I feel like it's also because of the chain being thin. This here sits on the outside, and this touches right here at that point on this necklace. And because I have just a little bead here as my charm, it makes this lay more rounded on my neck instead of more oval like this, and they just lay perfectly together. Alright, so before I go into the designs more, I do want to show you my leftovers because I really did use a lot of beads. So when I open this box, I'll show you a picture of what all the beads had looked like, you know, before I dug into it, so you have an idea. Because a lot of people think whenever I get this subscription box, I'll have someone say there's not enough beads in this box to make anything, and that is not true at all. I have made the most 3 designs out of the Czech Beads exclusive box. I always have a bunch of beads left over to where if I wanted to, and I tried hard, if I tried hard enough, I probably could get 4 to 5 pieces, but that also depends, you know. If you really want to make a lot from one box, you could make a whole bunch of earrings, but I'm not a big fan of simple earrings. I really love extravagant, over-the-top designs. I guess that's just because of where I'm at in my designing. I've been beading, I think, for 26 years now. It's been a really long time. So anyways, I don't do basic things very often, but when I do, I really want it to be fancy. So anyways, I'll put the picture up. Now, this is what I have left over. I actually found out that this color is called Dichroic. I thought it was Vitrail, and that's why it's so gorgeous. And these flowers here, they're such an amazing color. Those are also Dichroic, that color there. I have some of these. I didn't use any of those. I used most of these in here, and I couldn't use the last 2. I didn't use these, but I tried. And I used 3 of those stars in the bracelet. I almost used these in place of the stars. Instead of doing the stars and this flower, I was just going to have all of these, I think maybe there's 10 in there. I think I might do 8. It's like 8 or 10. So from here to here was all clear beads, but I decided to go with the stars. Here are some pinch beads. I did use these in this necklace, but I couldn't use them all, so that's my leftovers. And here are some 5mm aluminum, silver, Czech fire polish beads. I did use these as spacers in this, and I had these left over, which I was going to use these in this necklace here, but I decided not to. So as you can see, I used a lot, and there's still leftovers for my stash, which I love. I love having leftover beads to put into my stash. Okay, so I'm going to do this last. I'm going to show this one first because it's more simple, and then I'll go over this design. I'm going to have good pictures for you guys so you can follow the same pattern if you want. And a lot of you might already have beads in your stash similar to this. It just might be different colors that you can use. And you don't have to use the same bead that I used for the pendant here. You can use a different bead if you want. So I'm going to get my camera ready, set up here. Okay, I think you can see. Alrighty, so my pattern is repetitive, and I start with this pinch bead. I love that color. Wait for my camera to focus. This pinch bead, the teal, these are Preciosa faceted rounds. And this is a lentil. I put it onto a 6mm jumper, and you're going to want to use 6. I tried 8, it did not work. 6 is the best size, 6mm. And I don't know what that gauge is, but I think it might be a 22 gauge or 24. It has to be kind of thin to go through the lentil. Just open up some of your jump rings and try to pass it through. Be careful though, because if you chip this, you know, or crack it, then you can't use it. But there was 8. Yeah, there's 8 lentils that I use, and that's all that came in the bag, but you might have more in your stash if you're doing beads from your stash. And then after this, I did that pinch bead again. And then I did the pip bead. Good grief. I did the pip, and then I did the 3mm, it's called a Druk. And then this here, this looks like dichroic glass to me too. It's another drop bead. It's actually flat. And another Druk and the pip. And then I just repeated this pattern. So this here is repeated over and over until I get to the center. So right there. That's what that looks like. I'll let my camera focus. You know, I'll zoom in, I'll zoom back out. So that right there. Okay. And then in the center, this charm was too close to these 2 lentils, so I had to disrupt my pattern and put in 2 3mm right there, because I had to make a little space, and that was just a perfect bead size to separate these, because they were touching the lentils were touching my anchor charm. And I just did a wire wrapped loop there. Make sure when you wire wrap your center charm that this can spin really well, okay? Because if it's stiff and it doesn't want to move, you'll notice that when you're wearing it, that it's screwy, especially if you're using a flat bead. So then, you know, I repeated the same pattern over here, and it's symmetric. And it's important whenever you make necklaces, bracelets, and your bead stringing. This is something I really struggled with for a long time. I'm gonna have to let my dog out. There's a thunderstorm outside and he's scared. It's important to have a little gap, okay? Like, I used to think, oh, don't have a gap, it's a weak area. But no, you have to have a little space like this. It's maybe 1/8 of an inch. Okay, a little gap for movement, especially with drop beads. So this lays just right. Do you see that? I picked it up and laid it down, and all of these are behaving. But I guess I didn't get that. They're flipped right. But yeah. Okay, so that was this, and I just did crimps. I didn't put any crimp covers on. Sometimes I feel like my crimp covers tarnish a lot, but I was just a little lazy in that one. I didn't do the crimps. But anyways, that's this necklace. Now I'm going to go to the other one, and first I have to let the dog out. There's a lot more going on with the pattern in this design here. In the bracelet, I am using 2 of these diacrylic, the color is called diacrylic flowers, but if you want to, you can take this out or not use this and put the flower there. But for me, I really wanted to use this shell bead because it has tropical vibes, right, on vacation. And the pinch beads that are in here are white with the diacrylic plating on them, so I had to use this. So in place of the flower, I use this charm, because if you look at all the flowers, there is a Preciosa faceted 4mm round on the sides of the flowers. Okay, so I did a wire wrapped charm and I put that in the center. Let's see if I can zoom in, because I kind of don't want to pick this up and get it going everywhere, because that was my lid, because it's hard to see, my camera's not focusing very well. Alrighty, so I have for my center this wire wrapped shell charm. I made it. Only one came in the box in white, but it did come in the natural color when these snails are alive. It came in that color there, so I use this in here because I saw this color in this bead in the middle, and it's kinda, not really, but kinda close to that, so I thought it brought that together more. Anyways, I'm talking too much. So this is the center, and then I have a 4mm Preciosa on the sides. Okay, and then I did this bead, and I did this bead instead of this one because this is almost the same size as this, and it would look really weird if I had these here. And because when I laid this out, I did design this on a necklace design board. It makes it way easier. There is 4 of these, okay, and there's 6 of these, so that means that I can have 1, 2, 3. I'm going to show you how I made this necklace. The reason why I'm showing you how to do it this way, because you can make this with beads from your stash. You're just going to do different colors or maybe different kinds of beads, but you can do something similar to this with stuff that you probably have in your stash. So I laid the beads out on the board. I had, you know, 1, 2, 3, there's 6 of them, but there's those areas, and then I put the 2 dark blue ones like this, and then I was doing the flower and leaf beads in between those. So then zooming back in, okay, so then after the 4mm I did this bead because it looks best. These two look best beside this because of their size, okay? And then I did the Druk again, and then kind of like with this necklace, how I did this section here. Focus. Okay. I did the Druk. This is a teardrop bead. I did the diacrylic pinch. It's white with diacrylic on it. I did the leaf bead, the pinch, and the teardrop again. Okay. So I repeated that pattern. And then I did the Druk. Okay. And then I did the blue 4mm. I think this is a 9mm flower, that bead again. Okay, so my pattern is actually this. Wait. Yes, it's this. This is my pattern, and it is repeated. I just alternated this bead and this bead to make it look this way. So I put these down here because this is actually the flower section. It would repeat here. Do you see it now? Okay, so that's my pattern. After this would be a flower, so that's why the center is like that, okay? So then we're going to be repeating this again. So if I go this way, okay, this is the repeated pattern, but the difference is I just swapped out these 2 beads, so I have that dark one there. Okay, so then it's the Druk, the square bead, Druk, drop, pinch, leaf, pinch, drop, Druk, 4mm blue, faceted round, Preciosa, and I think, like I said, I think it's a 9mm flower, and then that bead again. So then I repeated this pattern again, but I alternated this bead to that blue one again. So right there, so I got that, and then I did it again. And then I only had 2 of these left, so that's why I finished it out with one on each side because I needed more length in my necklace, and I have 2 at the beginning, 1 in the middle, and then I did that there, and then I just ended it with the Druk. So it's like it's gonna start again, but then it just stops after that bead because I ran out of flowers and leaves and drops. And then I needed to do more beads for the back. Now I measured this, it's 23 inches long, but I only did it at this length because I do, when I put this on, I have this at the 20-inch mark, but I just added an extender in case I wanted to wear it a little bit longer if I'm not wearing these two together. But I put this on, and then I tried this one on, and I saw that I needed just a little bit more if I want this to lay under that other necklace. And so the rest of the pattern is 2 3mm Czech fire polish beads, a pinch, 2 fire polish again, a pinch, 2 fire polish, pinch, 2 fire polish, pinch, 2 fire polish. Okay? And then I did a crimp. I didn't use covers, you can if you want, and I just did a split ring because it's very secure. And I put my wire directly onto the clasp, but you don't have to if you want to. You could do a jump ring, that way in the future you can trade out your clasp if you break the clasp or something. So yeah, this is my design for this necklace, and this one's definitely my favorite. I'm in love with this one. I forgot to mention that I also left an 1/8 of an inch gap on this necklace because it's very important to have this movement. Because we are using drop beads and leaf beads, you need space so that they fall perfectly when you wear the piece. This is very important for bracelets and necklaces and even anklets, you know, another string thing. And when you look at it, you can't see the gap because the beads are, this here is supple, right? Like if you make a, see how it's really supple? If you make a piece of jewelry and it is so stiff that the beads won't spin, that is not good. I used to do that. And I ended up realizing that I needed to have a gap, and I started doing that, and it fixed all my problems. So it's very important to leave a space in your jewelry so that your beads can sit just right. I forgot to mention that I'm only using beads from the Czech Beads exclusive box. The only thing I'm using from my stash is basic things. So head pins for my charms here. I'm using jump rings for the lentils. I'm using chain from my stash. Jump rings, again, lobster claw clasp extender chain. You don't have to have an extender, it's optional. And on this one here, I used a split ring, lobster claw, crimp beads. This one here, I'm using a fancy spring clasp. I think it's a spring clasp. It's a fancy spring clasp, and I'm using this one because I feel like it's very nautical looking, and this is kind of ocean themed with the tropical flowers. I feel like that's kind of tropical looking, and I don't know, the shell, these are like starfish, so sea glass looks like to me, just the colors, it's very tropical. So yeah, it's basic stuff. A lot of you probably already have this stuff. I'm using a wire guard. You don't have to use them though. You could just do the crimps like I did in the other pieces, and a crimp cover. These two are totally optional. Alrighty, so I do want to show you, in case you've never seen, I do believe this is called a spring ring closure or clasp. When you open this, there's this little piece on here. This comes on the clasp. So I will be connecting the other side of my bracelet to that. That's what this side looks like. There's the wire guard. I have my crimp cover over my crimp. And I'm actually using crimp tubes. I think I said beads earlier. And then I have this 5mm Czech fire polish bead, my flower. 5mm Czech fire polish again. This square bead. This 5mm Czech fire polish bead. And you know why this here seems tropical to me because the last time I was at the beach, I kept finding all of these really cool seed pods, and this looks like one of the pods that I found. It was shaped like a teardrop and it had a hole in it. So I think that's pretty cool. Kind of looks like a seed pod I found on the beach. And 5mm again. And then these, I love these beads. They're wavy. Okay, and you can see my pattern. And then I did the fire polish again, flower again, and I have 2 Druks here, so this has more movement. I did have one there at first, but this was actually like getting twisted and stuck on itself, so I put 2 there because I need more space. And then I have star, Druk, star, Druk, star, and Druk. Okay, I'm going to take this off, and I also need to take this off. I'm probably going to clip it back on though to make sure my tension's right. And remember, we have to use the smaller hole because our clasp goes through the big hole. So I'm going to put the crimp on first. And remember, these other two here are optional. Now I'm using this here, and I might be zoomed in too much, but this has to go onto this first. Okay, so I dropped it. It just disappeared. There it is. Okay, I'm going to put this on. Good Lord. Okay, it's very wiggly. I'm holding it like this. I'm going to pass my wire up through one side and then through my closure and then down through the other side and then down through the crimp. Okay, so let's see, I think I'm going to try to go through 2 or 3 stars. I'll see how much space I have. So I'm pulling this tight and then passing my wire through. Sometimes I like to use pliers to feed this. And let's see. Okay, I'm at that 3rd Druk. Let's see how far it can go. I don't see it come out yet. Oh no, I got my wire swapped. I think it's this one. No, it's this one. Okay. It's coming out right here, so I'm just going to pull it down a little bit. I'm going to pull this side up and then hold it here, pull my tail down, and I have to slide my clasp up there. And I'm going to need slack, especially because this is a bracelet, and I hope you saw everything. I should probably stop and check. Alright, I'm just trying to make sure I'm in frame because I think I kind of went out of frame. So when I pulled this through, I still have some slack there, so I have to get this to go through. And I think what's going on is this wire protector, do you see how wide it's spread open? It's causing like friction on this crimp, so I have to get this closure thing to go there and pinch this together. I use my fingers. Okay, so see, it's coming closer together. So then I'm going to pull this, and that fixed it. Okay, but now what I want to do is I want to make sure that I have enough slack, enough space. For one, I have to have a space like I did on the necklaces where I had an 1/8 of an inch gap, I have to have space because with a bracelet, you go like this, right, to close it, and if you don't have enough space, it will not close for you. It'll be like a U, like this. It'll be really hard to close, and you will feel how stiff it is as you're trying to close it. So you know it's too stiff then. And then when you add a crimp bead, that takes more space. And I know this little thing is so small, but that will also take up space in your bracelet. So I have this charm here. You want to make sure this isn't sitting in between beads. It's not. It's sitting on the beads. That's good because that can cause a gap. And then I'm going to come down here and I'm just going to scoot this down a little bit. Scoot up my crimp. Okay. Take your time. There's no rush. Rather spend more time getting something right than going too fast and screwing it up. And I screw stuff up all the time. There's like no room down here still, so I'm going to pull on this a little bit. I need more space. Okay, it's getting to be, looks like almost just right. I'm going to scoot that up. Okay, that looks good so far. I'm going to close this. A little test run. And let's see, will my cover fit there? Yes, it's going to be just right. So that is on the beads, it's not between. Let's crimp it. Okay. So I just do a little test. And this here is, I think it's called 3-in-1. It does 3 different sizes of crimps. This is made by Xeron. This is my favorite crimping tool. I had the old school one. And really, it's basic, but if you have that one, you will eventually want to go to this one because it does a lot more. This also has a very fine chain nose pliers at the tip, which I use all the time. I even use these to get knots undone because they're so fine. And so, right here, do you see this? It looks like a tooth? A triangle? We are going to flatten and crease the crimp right there. And then I'm using a number 1 crimp, so I go to the smallest hole, and we're going to fold it in that hole. And then I actually go to here and I squeeze it even more. Okay, so sliding those beads down, getting my crimp in the right place. Remember, you need a tiny gap here between the wire guard, okay, where you could see the wire, because we're putting a cover over it, and you need that little space for the cover. And of course I have the space down here. Okay. Oh, and also another thing, this wire, when it sticks out, it's actually creating a gap here. So when you cut this off, you get even more slack. So, oh, I forgot to fold it. So I creased it. Getting ahead of myself. See? And now I have to fold it, and I'm going to fold it in the first slot there, so just like this. Fold it. Now it's folded, but I like to come back and squeeze it with the chain nose part, just because it makes it more secure. And then put my cover on. Oops. Maybe I should put the clasp on. You know what? I think I should cut my tail off. Pull this wire, and then when you cut it, it's a very close cut, and you can't see the wire sticking out. Okay, now let's put the cover on now. It just gave us more room. Okay, so put it in your pliers. You can use chain nose pliers to do this in case you do have the other crimp pliers. So I just closed it. It's on there, but there's still a gap. So I have to come this way And sometimes these crimp covers, they won't be parallel side by side. One will be up high and one will be down low. And you want to spin this, because see how this is flat? You want this to be up because your wire will get stuck in this gap and it won't close. It's really annoying. Okay, so yeah, sometimes these will be uneven. Which mine is. Usually it's uneven. See how this is overlapping? Both sides are like that. So I actually go like this to bring it together more. It's a little tricky. I've never got one of these perfectly round. I think it's impossible. Just take your time and fidget with it. I actually like to use that round, the number 3 hole, because it completely closes it. See that? So that's done, and it looks like we did it. It looks like we have, yes, just enough slack. It feels nice. Okay. This clasp here is so awesome. I did kind of want to put charms on it. Like I was going to put this on here, but if I did, it would fall off when I opened it. So what I would have to do is find a jump ring that would fit over here where these rings are. These are soldered on. And so that the charm would stay back here, but I thought it'd be very annoying to put the bracelet on if I did that. So that's why I put it in another place. So just put that on, and there we go. That is so cool. I love that. But if you wanted to, you could put a little charm there if you don't think it's annoying to put it on. And these spin, so I like that. And because this is flat when you're wearing it, if you want, you can flip them up, and I think they would stay up. As long as you don't make the bracelet too big, these would stay up. Or if you wanted the silver side, or maybe you just wanted like 2 up, you know, or maybe like that, it's up to you. So yeah, it's adorable. So I have laid the necklaces out, and this is how they look on my neck. They sit together so beautifully. I love all the colors. It definitely brings your eye in, and it makes you want to look at it because there's so much to look at. It's so pretty, all the colors. So this is it. I hope I inspired you guys. I hope you had fun. Look for beads in your stash. See if you can make something similar to this if I inspired you. And if you did get this box, good for you. If you didn't get the box, I will link it down below. Again, this is July 2023 box. You'll see it down there below. Now, if you're watching this video at a later time and you are not able to get that box, you're in luck, because I'm also going to post individual links to the materials I used to make these 3 projects down there below in the description bar. So you will see necklace 1, which will be my favorite necklace with the white shell. This will be necklace 1. You'll see the link list for it down there below in the description bar. And then you will see necklace 2, this one here, and you will also see the link list for this, of all the materials you will need to make that project. And bracelet 3, the 3rd project, you'll see list of materials you will need to make this down there below in the description bar. Alright, so hopefully that's everything I had to tell you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please like this video, leave me a comment, subscribe if you want to see more of my videos, and make sure you click the bell button so that you get notified whenever I upload new videos, and follow me on my social media sites. I'm on Instagram, Pinterest, and Twitter. Thanks for watching.